The following program is intended for mature audiences.
It's the music, movies, and shows you love.
As if we care.
And hate.
You ain't gonna like it none.
And love to hate.
I didn't expect that at all.
This is The Broken Remote.
And coming to you live on tape on this Wednesday, May 29th, 2024. It is The Broken Remote. It is Rich and the Thrill joining the program. Took a week off last week as we were engaged in all kinds of random shit. I think for you, sir, you were testing out, right?
It's testing, it's studying, it's all that bullshit every other day. And my phone connected to my computer for the Zoom we do to record this.
Oh yes. Well, now I get a beautiful picture of your desk there. But you're all tied up with tests of some sort for your professional career.
Yeah,
Good luck with that. Your girlfriend as well, who you bludgeoned with some bad movies, which we'll get to in a little bit. And I was just doing typical old fucking dad shit. So
yeah, classic end of the right before Memorial Day, right before final season and test season and all other bullshit.
Right. Well, at least with the weekend, we got good weather because up here in the Northeast, New Jersey, New York based, it's been shitty for months on end. And it gets to be the holiday weekend. It's like, all right, this is going to be like every other fucking weekend where it just ends up raining, shitting on the weekend, and then it's going to be beautiful and sunny during the week. But no, we actually got 2 solid days. Got a good solid weekend. Did you do anything eventful?
We went to the beach. Yeah, dude, the last few months have been literally you're wearing shorts in the day, and then it just gets to the point where it's like almost a flash dance where you just have to swap clothing as fast as possible for either freeze to death or just burn up into a cinder.
Yeah.
We just did beach. Yeah, beach. Watch some movies.
Yeah, movies you did, and that's what we'll dive into. Fuck it, we'll just do it right now. So. Yeah. We mentioned this in the last episode, if not the last episode, the one before that, but there was a great addition to Netflix library.
Oh, yes.
And that was the fantastic Madam Webb. Oh, and let me tell you, it was everything it was billed to be, as your girlfriend found out.
Yes, I told her about the podcast. She might be listening to this. But yeah, before we continue, though, really quick, just want to say one thing.
Please do.
He was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders right before she died.
Now, I think that showcases probably one of my biggest issues with this entire movie is that there is no movie. There's no movie.
You tell, don't show. What are you talking about? Everyone knows that.
For anybody that has not seen this movie, it is required watching because, and we've said this, historically over the podcast, that sometimes things are just so bad they're good, right? And that you have to watch them just to experience how awful they are.
What's so crazy, and I'm looking this up right now because I believe the duo that made this, it is. It was exactly who I thought it was.
I don't even know who watched it or who made it.
So the guys who wrote it.
Wrote it, directed, or produced?
Wrote it.
Okay.
So it's literally the same guys, dude, who wrote Morbius.
Oh, which makes complete sense.
Which is like, did they not watch their own movie? Or were these in production at the same time? Like, what happened that they went, yeah, the movie that did really bad financially, even though we're trying to, shovel this Spider-Man shit. By the way, everyone I've talked to had no idea who Madam Web was before even watching this movie.
Oh, nor did I. I had no clue whatsoever who Madam Web was.
I knew her from one Spider-Man comic my brother had, where she was like a side character. And I knew she was like the most side of side characters.
Because, I go through generations of comics and comic book characters, video games, etc. And let me tell you, Madam Web, I have no fucking idea.
Bro, the balls to fail at Morbius and then to say, no, I'm going to put it all on black. Here's $100 million, at least for making this movie, not counting
Is
marketing.
that what the production budget was?
They say it was $100 million, but at the same time you're going,
Ugh, that's probably before marketing and advertising too.
It was probably less when you think about it because Pepsi was probably paying them so much money to make this one giant commercial for them. Because I mean, like,
which has become more apparent and more like just pitiful as time has gone on. Because product placement used to have a little, niche spot, and you wouldn't notice it.
Yeah, I wouldn't notice when, like, what was Dakota Johnson was openly be like, wow, I'm just so stressed out right now. Thank goodness I have the nice, refreshing taste of a delicious Pepsi Cola to help me use my future-seeing powers. And then she slowly moves it towards the camera just to show off that beautiful red logo.
And like you had mentioned before I watched it, man, she really did mail it in on this one.
Dude, it was I heard she mailed it in. There was like one scene where she and Ben Schwartz, who I love just from Parks and Recreation, where he plays I think Ben Schwartz. No, it's not him. What the
who is no, you're talking about Adam Scott?
Adam Scott. I'm thinking of the other Jewish looking guy from whoops.
Okay, yeah, Adam Scott, who
can I be anti-Semitic?
Dude,
I am Jewish.
It's fine for you. I got to watch it, especially since I'm part German, right? So, it's a double whammy for me to do anything like that. So, but Adam Scott doesn't see a paycheck he doesn't like, right? He's fallen into that category.
He's in a lot.
And I like him. I like him. Here. I genuinely laugh at him. Did you see Severance on Apple?
I liked him. I mean, Parks and Recreation aside, he was in that Hot Tub Time Machine sequel movie where you're
was he in the second one?
He was in the second one, which, by the way, the first one you're like, wow, that was ridiculous.
I like the first one too.
The first one was good. The second one you're like, this is going to be stupid because they made a sequel. But granted, there may have been drugs involved. The second one was really fun too, and I was like,
I don't remember the second one.
Guy gets it. Don't quote me on whether it's watchable. I mean, okay. I thought it was good at the time, but dude, this movie was just what a nice paycheck. I hope for a couple different people.
Yeah, well, I was surprised that he took it only because it was so terrible a movie, and the scenes that he's in, he's actually like really acting, and it's like, dude, you got to understand.
She's the only one there. Dude, why was Emma Roberts there?
Like,
also?
Why are you playing the violin on the Titanic? Right? Dude, go find a lifeboat. Just get off the ship.
Dude, they have Emma Roberts be a bit part, and we do have to get into this because this is what drove me like the most bonkers. Besides the plot and the writing,
there's a lot of bonkers to be had here. So.
There was so much crazy. I think what drove me the most insane, dude, was, and I'm not sure if like they don't have the film rights to Spider-Man or like whatever their deal is with Marvel, they can't say something, but it really seemed like they were going out of their way to be like, hey, look, we're kind of related to Spider-Man, and this guy's Ben, and he's an uncle to this kid. What's his last name?
What was the Ben Reilly drop?
Was there a Ben Reilly drop?
There was a Ben Reilly drop, I'm almost positive, in the movie early on. I thought they said Ben Reilly, and I was like, Ben
Reilly, for those who don't know.
Ben Reilly is Scarlet Spider.
Yeah, for those who don't know that are not as, were challenged as losing their virginity as Rich and I, he is another side character in the Spider-Man universe, who's like, dude, I don't want to. How deep do I go in with Scarlet Spider? I mean, he's another kind of Spider-Man ally named Ben Reilly. But regardless, it was so weird, dude. How
sorry, it wasn't Ben Reilly. It was Ben Parker. And it's Adam Webb revealed that Ben Parker and Casey Webb were actually good friends around the time Peter was born.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, that's so great. Yeah, so thank goodness. I was always wondering.
Some grasp at some kind of connectivity between the tissue here, the Spider universe.
It was so weird, dude. It was so forced, like the whole time. Like, hey, look, this is Uncle Ben, and that's Peter's mom. What's the name of the kid? It could be a P. We're not going to tell you because Marvel will be mad at us, but it's a Peter, and then his last name is Parker.
There you go.
Do you get it?
I think that. In my understanding of this Spider-Verse, whatever, is that they can use the ancillary Spider-Man-centric
but they
characters.
Can't say Spider-Man?
But I don't think that they can. They can't use his character, I don't think, right? So, because wasn't it one of the Venom movies they showed like a graffiti of Spider-Man on the wall.
And they took that out though. It was in the trailer, and then they took it out in the actual movie.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, which is just like, of course.
Right. Well, I mean, Sony at this point. We'll come back to Madam Web in like 5 minutes. But
what is their deal? Because they will make Across the Spider-Verse certified bop, just crushing it in like story and visuals, and you're like, oh my god, a new character who's just awesome. Like he does what all these others are trying to do.
Because they gave the reins to who's that combo? The ones that did Lord
and Miller.
Miller, yeah. That they gave the keys to them, right?
But dude, like what they did with Miles Morales,
they know what they're doing.
What they did with Miles Morales, where he is a spin on a beloved character. Like everyone loves Peter Parker, everyone loves Spider-Man, but they made Miles Morales, and instead of doing like what they did with Indiana Jones or Star Wars, where they've just been like,
cover your heart, Indy. Cover your heart,
Indy. But what they do with all those other characters are like, hey, you guys are gonna love Phoebe Waller-Bridge. She's basically the new Indiana Jones, and then everyone hates her.
Fucking.
How come only those two get it, dude? And they're the only ones that have made like a good spin-off character that everyone actually likes. And then meanwhile, here I am watching like the gum on the shoe of a Sony exec that's like, wait, what is this that we have the rights to? Madam Web. Fuck it.
We like it. We're gonna go girls with this one, okay? We're gonna go chick money, big chick money. We'll use Dakota Johnson. She'll be like the older sister. And who's the girl with the tits? We'll throw her in there, too.
Yeah, throw her with the tits. Yeah. Dude,
but we won't feature. Oh, yeah. The Sweeney broad. Yeah. The one with the big giant tits. She's all over the place. Her mom talks about how she kept her to keep the tits. We'll put her in there. But we won't put her in anything revealing so that way it doesn't look like we're being too gratuitous.
You don't want it to be weird. But, like, dude, it's so weird. And do we bother with the plot of this movie? Because I don't think the writers did. It's just like, what the fuck?
And, you know, as a result, we've kind of been all over here. So let's just start off here, right?
Yeah. Give me
I don't know.
Web
I'm going to throw up a question for you. What is one of your top 3 biggest issues with the movie itself?
Bear with me one moment. I think this.
If you want, I'll kick it off because I've been thinking about this. I didn't drop this to you beforehand, so it doesn't really make much sense now. But
I got it. Okay, here it is. Here's my biggest issue with the movie. He was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders right before she died.
Yes, which
I think that says more than anything I could do.
Yeah, it's one of my issues as well, and I'll say it this way, is that this movie will not explain to you anything that's going on.
No.
From the beginning, they don't explain it, and then at the end, you're sitting there being like, I don't fucking know what I'm watching.
Yeah.
They do start off in the Amazon, and
researching spiders
for unknown reason, right? Characters who you have never been introduced to.
Nope.
So when they start off, it is who ends up being Dakota Johnson's mom. I don't know the actress.
Yeah, whatever.
And then what you find out later is like the premier bad guy, right?
And before we continue, even though I'm sidetracking us already, were every single line of the main bad guys dubbed?
Oh, dude, the writing.
Right?
I mean, it's really bad. I mean, it felt, and I think that you made the same comment for Morbius. And if you want to catch our Morbius episode, you can go back in the archives, scroll and find Morbius, because we talked about that. So it's
like this one, but we talk about bats instead of spiders.
Yeah, we're attuned to the shittiness of these filmmakers. But so you find out that he's the bad guy later. Mm-hmm. There's no motive given to either of them. No explanation of why the mother wants to look into these spiders. No information on what the fucking spider is.
They tell you at the very end, but that's like the scene where she forgives her mom.
Yeah.
And which again, there's so much to get into. This is gonna be a lot.
That point goes into one of my other biggest what the fucks of this movie.
Yeah.
But there's just no explanation as to what's going on. They just throw you in it. And then on top of that, they throw tree people at you, tree spider people.
Yeah, tree Spider-Man. They're literally Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man's outfit, but it's made out of like vines.
Made out of vines.
Which sounds cool, actually, when I say it that way. But it's not the way you're thinking of it. It is they are naked and they have like vaguely spider-esque patterns, but with like the Spider-Man's eyes made out of vines. And there's a whole tribe of them.
There's a tribe. There's tons of them.
Except they're dressed up when they're not dressed up, they're just wearing like casual Amazon wear, which will come up later in our review when she goes back to the Amazon.
Right.
Back to the Amazon.
And something happens in between that time, too, that's never explained. But
which is...
I know, it goes on and on. So they start this movie. They don't explain to you anything. Then the mother, whatever. If you haven't seen this movie, it doesn't matter. The plot is not a plot.
Yeah, it's not a plot.
The mother is not saved, but the child is saved. And I don't know. There's multiple of these spiders.
She's like 9 months pregnant in the Amazon. Like, definitely a totally chill place to, be pregnant and just be walking around. And then her assistant guy, whose entire voice might as well just be like, you might as well be watching like a Japanese anime sub or something like that, dude, with how much this guy's voice is just like complete. I don't care about ADR. I never notice it. But the fact I noticed it in this movie, that like, she's like, I have to make sure that we're over here in the Amazon. And he's like, to make sure the spiders are okay. As it's not matching his lips at all. And then he just goes AWOL and then just becomes a mini Spider-Man or something.
Okay, so again, this goes into my problem is that they don't explain anything. So the mother doesn't get saved, but the daughter gets saved by what originally thought was just one single spider, but I guess there's a lot of these spiders. They just hang out with this spider tribe. So the magical spider, stabs the mother in the chest while she's in a pool with all these other spider people.
As one does. Yep, that happens all the time.
But it doesn't save her, but then the Spider-Man say the baby will be fine. So then they throw you into the rest of the movie. And they don't explain what happened, where there's, fallout, where the story connects to the future in this kid. You figure out that it's the daughter, obviously.
Yeah. Well,
but she has no powers to start the movie.
I think because some people will hear this and be like, oh, well, obviously those are going to be answered later in the movie. And, like, the answer is not really. Because, like, what a filmmaker would do is, like, here's this confusing situation in the first act. What's going on? You're the viewer. You're not really sure what's happening, but all of a sudden now we're with our main character, and later in the movie you'll go, that's what was happening there, as she uncovers it at the same time we do. They don't do that here because they're like, bro, do you see how the villain has, like, do you see how he's got, like, the same outfit as Spider-Man, but it's like black and red? It's like weird looking Miles Morales, except he has like none of the fun powers that Spider-Man has. He's got like a creepy version. This isn't freaking you out, right?
Why does he have those powers? They will never tell you. So if you're going to wonder why he has the powers, they don't tell you.
He's strong. He can climb on walls, and he's got like some poison touch, which, and we have to get into this.
But it was a curse, right? It was a curse.
I don't even know, dude. Like, they said that, I think, but like he can also sort of see the future in his dreams. So the whole crux of the movie is it's basically Terminator, where he has a vision of his future being killed by 3 spider ladies. So, like,
who they never explain.
No, never do. Who I guess are all characters from like the comics.
I didn't even bother to look that up because I was like, okay, they look really ridiculous. And
they look so dumb, dude.
They look so dumb, and I was like, okay, so they take out this guy.
The one thing everyone was hoping for in this movie was to see Sydney Sweeney in spandex, and they can't even let you have that. Like, what?
I mean, at least give us the knockers.
No, dude. Like, it's not hard. It's not a hard math problem, dude.
They put her in like the most like oversized shirts. Like, I mean, there was nothing form-fitting at all. Even when she was in the spider costume.
Yeah, so like like Madam Web she somehow gets the ability to like sort of see in the future, and then she can like, obviously change the future depending on what she does. And she sees these 3 girls being killed by evil Spider-Man, so that she tries to save them. And the 3 girls are like, do they even have names? Because they might as well just be, here is the spoiled rich kid.
Oh Christ! And then they're all like orphans.
Yeah, they're all orphans.
They're all orphans.
There's nerdy meek girl, and then there's hard-nosed immigrant who is tougher than she seems, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Teenagers, they don't matter. They're not important.
They do have like a Rebel Moon like dinner where they like talk about their backgrounds.
Yeah, what's your backstory? Let me tell you in vivid detail.
My parents, blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, okay, all right, we get it. You're all orphans. But before we continue, let's just go back to Madam Web and her powers.
Yes.
Can you explain to me exactly what happened?
See, I think I would be able to, but then the ending of the movie completely confused the shit out of me, so I don't know anymore. Like, she almost... So, spoilers, she almost dies as a paramedic. And yet, because she almost dies, she, like, wakes up her superhero abilities that she always had.
Yeah!
Which is the lamest ability of all time, because, at least in the movie, in the beginning, it's just like, hey, you can see in the future, kind of. And you have no control over it. And that's kind of it.
A near-death experience brought on your superpowers? That is one of the most odd ways to come upon a superpower in the history of comic book writing.
Well, like, if it was a cool... Like, you could do cool stuff with the future seeing, and she kind of does it towards the climax, which I hate saying that it was kind of cool, because they could have done something with it.
Why near death? Why would near death bring it up?
That's a trope in like a lot of stories, though, where like the hero's like he almost dies, then he awakens like whatever ability he needs.
Well, maybe like I don't know about an ability. I could see the hero almost dying and then coming back and being like, I have discovered my purpose in life, or
they'll come to some there'll be like some moment in the story because of that, but this was just
their hero calling. This is actually like a switch. This is like you were a normal chick, you almost died, and now you can see the future.
Dakota Johnson phoning it in, and now you're Dakota Johnson phoning it in, but you can kind of see what's going to happen in the future, and you're going, that it? That it? Yeah, that's all you got? Okay. But then at the end of the movie, spoiler, when there's the big showdown with the bad guy, she like has the ability to clone herself or something like that.
Okay.
With like a giant space web, which like sounds ridiculous because it is, and then it happens for 3 seconds and then it immediately stops. But like, I want to know what was going on there. They're clearly not going to tell us.
I like this is continuation of like the problem that I stated, which is like they just don't explain anything. Like these things just happen.
No.
And so...
Dude, we're tired today, Rich. We're so tired.
This is a very tiring episode.
We're so tired. We don't want to... we have to write more of your story? Oh, no, thank you.
They just... They not only... Like, they didn't explain anything, and when they need something to happen, they just go there. So... She just kind of, at one point, she's like, I'm going to go rediscover my mother, I guess. I don't know because they don't really explain it. And then all of a sudden, she's in the fucking Amazon. Not only is she in the Amazon, but I guess because her mom left her a book or something.
Dude,
was that what it was?
She goes on like a side. She has the book under her bed, and like whoever watches this or listens to this podcast, if you didn't see Madam Web, I feel bad for you because you're going to be so confused about what we're talking about. But you know what? We're doing the best we can with as confusing of a movie as this was. So
they'll be right on board because they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I get it. I don't get it. That's what I get about it." I said, "I don't get it."
Now you don't get it. You're getting
it. Get it. Yeah.
Now you're getting it. Where we just going with it? But she leaves a side quest. So at one point in the movie, she stops evil Spider-Man or whatever his name is from murdering
Ezekiel Sims. I looked it up.
That does not
Ezekiel
sound
Sims.
That sounds like a random name generator from like, okay, I need it to sound bad. Dude, okay. Before I get to the side quest part, but like, was this written by AI?
Oh, dude, this is AI movie.
Yeah.
Like you talked about, I think in Morbius, maybe something else,
Yeah,
maybe Rebel
it felt
Moon,
like Morbius. It felt like Morbius was, but like
this
this one, dude.
this was AI central. I mean,
Mhm.
even like the dialogue between the characters was always like the evil boss cliche.
The evil dude. It like
What am I
now,
paying you
now,
for?
now
Find
part
me
of it.
where she is.
Yeah, part of it could have been Dakota Johnson phoning it in, as hard as she was.
I mean, she did
But
phone
like,
it in.
it was like the fact Sony got mad at her for like, can you not shit the movie that we made with you? Like, come on, guys. We know it's not good, but like, you don't have to actively destroy it.
God, there's one scene where they're in a taxi, and the
Yeah,
three future Spider-Girl orphans are in the back, and Dakota Johnson's in the front, and she's like doing a lecture, and it's. I mean, there's just like no emotion. There's no stakes. You're just sitting there and you're like, what are we doing? And then she like closes the window between the
yeah.
two, being like, as your kind of sister
Badass.
mommy,
Fucking
I don't
badass. Yeah,
appreciate
she's so
fuck.
girl, dude. She's so girl boss. She girl boss so fucking hard.
Oh, dude, there was so much girl boss in this movie, and it failed on every level.
Every level, dude. The fact, I mean, but back to the side quest. Like at one point, when all the girls are being actively hunted by evil Spider-Man, she's like, "Yo, I'm gonna leave you in this motel room. Bear me 2 seconds. I'm just gonna fly out to the Amazon."
To the Amazon.
And not only does she go to the Amazon, she then takes a bus to like a secluded part of the fort. Like, dude, her geoguesser, she must fucking kill it,
Dude.
Like,
When
she found the spot in the
when
Amazon
she
forest.
walked in, so in this scene in the beginning of the movie with the mother, the basically the Spider-Man people like carry the body of the mother, and they also have like super Spider-Man. They look like Predator jumping through the trees.
Yeah, that's a good exactly.
Right, and so and they take her up to some place where they have a big pond where they, this is where the mystical spider bites you in this pond of water, and she somehow finds this fucking pond tree thing, like no explanation.
It felt like that was taken from some movie too. Like I feel like I've seen that exact
but the
set.
mother never would have found it, right? Remember, like this whole thing is like her mother's book. Her mother died.
She had the Jungle Spider-Man guy who did the fake Uncle Ben quote where he's like, "Once you have the power, you will realize the responsibility." Like they didn't say the Uncle Ben quote because they're just like, "Hey, this is what Uncle Ben said," and I don't like that. So like, what if we did that but worse?
Oh my God, they did the fucking. You just reminded me. They also did the Incredible Hulk drop when Sydney Sweeney was just like, "You wouldn't like me when I'm hangry." And I was like, oh, my God.
Stop.
Fuck.
Stop it.
Kill me. But yeah, she finds this tree in the middle of nowhere.
Nowhere. She just gets it. She just like, and then she's back, by the way, to save the girls in like the next 3 hours because that's how fast flights are. And
this, but by the way, when she finds the spider pond, they're not there anymore. Like the 12, 15 Spider-Man tribe, they're not there.
They're chill. There's one dude.
But there's one dude.
One dude in casual beach, like he was wearing a Vine spider suit before, and then she sees him, and not only
it looked like
he
came from fucking Seaside Heights Boardwalk.
I was gonna say, dude, he's like well groomed, like he looks like a sugar daddy.
Well, that would be the
Seaside one of those. Yeah, I mean,
that might have been the beach, but yeah.
Yeah, he looks like a sugar daddy though. That is like
yeah, he does. Yeah. It looks like it's straight from White Sands, right? So he came from the golf links, and he just came up into this tree. I just shot fucking 18, and I'm here to tell you about your mom. It was ridiculous.
No, it was insane, dude. But like, and here's the thing I need to talk to you about, because this is, I think, what drove me the most insane. So the bad guy, the first like real introduction to him, he's banging some chick with horrible like ADR where like he's speaking, but like the camera's not showing his face, and you can see his lips are not moving in time with what he's actually saying.
Was he sleeping with somebody?
He was banging some chick in the beginning, and then it turns out she's like in the NSA, and he steals her credentials so his other side chick could like.
Oh yeah, okay.
So he only knows. So the reason he knows these girls once again is because he had a dream that in the future they kill him.
Yes.
So naturally he wants to kill them first before that happens. But the problem is he's only seen them in his dream, but apparently that's not a problem because I guess he has a photographic memory, and apparently technology in 2003, which is when this movie takes place once again, and I say this because they use like fucking what was that horrible Shia LaBeouf movie that came out years ago? With
There's been a lot of those.
A lot of those. Like
Which
Eagle
one?
Eye,
Indiana Jones 4? Any of the Transformers movies?
Eagle Eye. The one where
Yes.
the NSA computer can like see you through traffic lights or some shit. Like in 2003, she's able to be like, hey, I found the 3 exact women that you mentioned in your dream. You don't have a picture of them. In your dream, the way you described them to me. Here is a crystal clear image of what I think they look like without their masks, because I'm just able to do that. Because once again, it's 2003, and we have this technology. Everyone knows that. I mean, yes, people are mainly using kid pics to send emails, and AOL's still a big thing along with pets.com. But, this technology also totally exists. And he finds them, like, throughout the movie because there's just, like, a stray camera on. And he's just, like, has these resources.
That's also the girl who is a mastermind because she, they tell you she's a mastermind.
Dude.
And she sits behind, like, 20 television or whatever, monitors, computer monitors, which I don't think was a thing in 2003. Like, there was a lot of cool tech stuff, but I don't think that was one of them.
She was using flat screen monitors. It's like, dude, the best computer you could get was one of those like multicolored, thick Apple computers back then. You know those ones? Like,
they time jumped all over the place.
Dude, like they were like, no, see, it's 2003. That's why they don't have cell phones.
Well, yes, right.
But then they're also trying to use like everything else, which, just it's stupid.
And they were, what was the fuck? And then she was playing a song, and I was trying to do the dating of the song, and I'm sure they didn't screw it up that bad. But remember when she went into the diner, which was, I don't know, in the middle of the woods, but it wasn't.
The best scene.
Oh, they were doing Britney. I think it was Britney,
they were
right?
doing Toxic. Yeah,
it was Toxic. It was Toxic.
Which, like.
And I didn't do the time, but I was like, hold on, did Toxic come out at that point? And I'm like, I think it might have, but I'm not sure. But also they're like dancing on the table in the diner in the middle of the woods.
Which was infuriating, dude. That was making me so mad. Where it's like, yeah, they're just girls. They're just having a good time. Look at them dance. Oh my god.
And nobody in the diner is making a big deal about it. Like,
no, they're just like, look at these things. This isn't creepy at all.
Like the manager wouldn't be like, can you get the fuck off the goddamn table, please? Thank you.
Yeah.
But the guy. Ezekiel Sims, they never explain Bad Spider-Man. They don't explain what his powers are. I don't know what his powers were.
He had some poison bite and
the poison bite, which they told you, like, where they were, if he holds your hand and he holds it too long, it will poison you.
Which, like
holy shit.
And then at one scene, and, like, I'm going to give my girlfriend credit for this one here. Like, so they're doing this, they're doing one scene. So Madam Webb, she's a paramedic, and she's like, if he poison bites you, then your heart's is going to, like, she just knows immediately. Your heart's
I know where you're going, yes.
And so I'm going to have to teach you all how to do CPR. And then they just have, like, the most awkward, like, it's out of The Office. Like, it's so awkward where they're doing CPR. And my girl-friend literally said out loud, just like, they're going to do this at the end of the movie, aren't they? Like, this is like,
of course.
And just like, yeah, they are.
And not to mention, they start doing this CPR scene, and it is party time because it is the most riveting 10 minutes you've ever seen on film.
It's so long.
It's so long. And at that point in the movie, I'm like, holy shit, if anybody was in the theater and they were still sitting watching this movie, this would be the scene where you would get up and you'd be like, you know what? I'm throwing in a towel.
I think I'm done, dude. Yeah.
I
mean, and the end of the movie, dude, by the way, like, so end of the movie, they're like some firework factory or something.
I couldn't figure out what they were, other than Pepsi, because Pepsi's in bright fucking lights.
Dude, also, like, I will say, I am going to give props to the Pepsi marketing team where they're like, you need to have Pepsi somehow stop the bad guy. Like, how are we going to do that? That's impossible. And they went, I think we got away. Where the P in Pepsi is literally what kills the bad guy. Like, for real, that's what happens.
There had to be some, like, 35-year-old, pretty astute Pepsi professional that might have been in one of these pitch meetings that was like, yo, Bob, I don't want to say anything, but I don't think this is a great fucking idea.
Dude,
this movie kind of sucks.
Do you know there was some like with every idea they had for the movie, there was some like old Southern gentleman with like the fake hair that like George Washington, the founding fathers had, that was made of like the white horse hair or whatever.
Yeah, right.
I think what we should do here for the final is make sure Pepsi saves the day just as much as Madam Webb. And they're like, oh, I don't know how we're going to do that, Mr. Pepsi. We know you're the heir to the Pepsi fortune, but I just don't think it's anything possible to do. Well, I think if you just look a little harder, you'll realize that Pepsi actually is what's going to kill Ezekiel Sims, named after that son of a bitch gardener I once had. And I think it will crush him with the P. And then the screen will zoom out a little bit with Madam Webb enjoying a nice, refreshing Pepsi. Just to make sure you really understand what's going on
I
here.
just finished watching Glass Onion with my son, and you sound exactly like Daniel Craig.
That might be where I'm getting it from. Yeah, God.
But that's also in my head. I'm also picturing fucking
No, it's just dumb.
Colonel Sanders. I'm also picturing Colonel Sanders. And KFC, I think, is Yum Brands, right? Which also is PepsiCo. So, like, the whole thing's just...
Is it actually? Oh, dude. So it is all together. So it's all together. Yeah.
I think it is. Yeah. So when you're picturing that, I'm like, holy shit.
It goes all the way to the top.
It goes all the way to the top. But, yeah, I don't know. They were at some kind of fucking random fireworks factory in the middle of... I don't even know what town were they in. Were they New York based?
Queens, I think, was like something they mentioned at one point. I know, like they were in Chinatown at some point.
Oh yeah, they were saying something about Queens, right? Well, it was also, you know, they mentioned the Parker family, so I guess they had to be somewhere close to them.
Wait, Parker, like Peter Parker?
Yeah.
Wait, was he in this movie? Oh, wait, no, dude, I know this movie was badass. Damn.
Now, as it relates to the larger Spider-Verse network, at the end of this movie, they basically, you know, Madam Webb, Dakota Johnson, becomes blind and in a wheelchair.
Which is like, how? I think she got like hit in the face by and by the way, at the end of I have to talk about this really quick.
Go ahead.
End of the movie, she like unlocks her future powers, so she's able to like predict everything and like, you know, completely. It's like replaying a level in a video game where you know an enemy's around a corner. You're just prepared for it, so she's like ducking under like things.
But she didn't work for it. She didn't work for any of this. She died.
You don't understand. You don't understand. She met old man Spider-Man. What were we calling Jersey Shore Spider-Man?
Jersey Shore Spider-Man. Oh, Ezekiel Sims.
No, the other old guy in the jungle who just helped her realize.
Oh yeah, right. White Sands guy. Yeah. The golfer.
Yeah, White Sands guy. Yeah, exactly. She met him, and he, I guess, said two things to her, and then she was like, "Oh wait, my mom wasn't hating me," and when she was in the Amazon and pregnant, because I had like some
the disease of some sort.
Dude, what was that one thing she said?
I don't remember.
In her flashback. God, dude, there's so much in this movie that's throwing me off topic here because there's so much to talk about.
I remember her talking about it. I just don't remember what she was saying.
Her mom, so she has a flashback scene where like somehow she's able to see her mom's memories, and she's like the whole movie she's been making like, why did my mom hate me so much? And then it shows her mom in the doctor's office, and the doctor's like, hey, your unborn child is gonna have some muscular neurological disorder. So like it's kind of all she wrote. She's like, no, I won't take no for an answer. And then she goes, what? But I don't have a muscular neurological disorder. What? Huh?
Must be.
My mom was trying to save me by going to the Amazon to find the spiders? Oh. And
which at that point, who gave a shit? Nobody. It was over. It was over. All the goodwill that you had in the audience was gone by that point. That was something that you should have established way earlier. Because then the bond with the daughter and the mother could be embraced for some time. Rather than just at the end being like, oh, yeah, you know what we forgot to tell you was that fucking, you know, the Madam Webb actually was going to die as a baby and her mom really went into the fucking Amazon to find the magical spider to save her, not just randomly in the fucking Amazon, which is what we made you think, or at least tried to make you think for the first, you know, hour and 45 minutes of this movie. It was beyond. It was beyond. It was just... a clinic in
shocking.
filmmaking.
It was shocking. It was a shocking. Like, can you blame the director? I think you can to a degree, but like at this point, it's just like Sony's turned out so many of these dudes.
Well, not
and
with
like
the script.
same writers.
I mean, the director could have said, "Look, we're going to scrap the fucking script. I don't care."
Do we have to use the? He was in the Amazon with my mom researching spiders.
Fucking ad-lib.
I don't think we need to use that line.
Just like ad-lib it. Girls, just ad-lib it. Have fun with it. Bare bones, use the script that we gave you, but otherwise just fucking run with it. Do whatever you want. Sydney, wear a fucking tighter bra and tighter fitting clothes. Anything to just sell this shit. So at the end, when she is blind and in a wheelchair, then she puts on like the fancy glasses. They do a fast forward. And this brings me to my next issue. Did Sony really think that they were going to go into this movie and make a franchise out of this shit?
Dude, that's what's so confusing because you feel like Morbius would have just knocked that out of them.
Oh, for sure.
It's literally that SpongeBob meme, if you've ever seen it, where like
I don't think I have.
But it's like, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Sony won't learn.
They won't learn, dude.
They're a really, really old man.
Like,
that's what they
how
are.
much their money are they losing? Like, and it's not just they're losing money. It's like, I think it'd be one thing if it was just going under the radar and no one gave a shit. Maybe they're getting a lot of money from Netflix because it was #1 for a while.
Yeah, but I think everybody was watching it for the same reason, and that's because everybody heard it was so bad.
I mean,
like, it's legendary bad. I have seen a ton of bad movies in my time. Most of the bad movies were like built like bad movies, right? They wanted to be a bad movie, or they were low budget, or it was like a shitty horror movie, or, none of them were like big budget comic book movies that you were watching and you were like, holy fuck, where did they get anybody that did this movie? Like, honestly, from the actors, the actresses, the scriptwriters, the producers, nobody could have seen this at any point and been like, dude, this is going to work. Go ahead.
It just, I mean, there's nothing else to add. It's just like, it's just so insane. It's such a large amount of money, and movies nowadays, and we'll get into like some of the other like good ones that aren't doing well. Like, why would you blow the budget on something you know is going to be trash?
Worldwide.
Like no one liked it. You barely made any money back.
Worldwide, $100 million. Opening, $15 million. Domestic was $43 million. International got $56 million. To me, I thought that this would have been an international flop, but I guess not. The international came through. Usually with these movies that you see, the big budget ones, it ends up being around 60-40, international to domestic. So domestic gets 40%, not the 60. 60 gets the international percent. And then for like movies like Ghostbusters, that ends up being primarily all America, right? Like that's all like domestic. Yeah. For whatever reasons. I don't know. I read a bunch on certain movies. But anyway, usually for the most part, you get 60% international. This one almost gets the same thing, which is surprising because it was like, oh, this feels like who internationally would like this fucking movie?
China, maybe we can blame them for this too. I don't know.
Yeah, you didn't come to the fucking box office, you fucking commie fucks.
Yeah. That's what you think we're cool if you take all of our resources and then, you take all of our patents and stuff and make them illegally and cheaper.
Sure.
But this is too far if you support movies like this.
Yeah, but you got to go and fucking do that. You got to buy tickets to this shit movie.
Dude,
but they did not. But
I will say, glad I didn't spend money seeing this months ago.
Oh, yeah,
me too.
Me too. That final scene that we were referring to, basically, they show them. It's kind of like a flash forward, right? It's like them in their outfits. Is that how that ended?
Yeah, or like the movie was like her doing some weird voiceover, being like, "I'm so proud of what you're going to become," and they're like doing another really bad CGI with a lot of motion blur.
Yeah. And she's got her, because she's blind now. She's got her like fancy superhero glasses on,
Mm-hmm.
So, and then it just ends. And then you're just sitting there and you're like, holy shit. Did Sony think that they were going to take these fucking 4 girls and run like a trilogy of Madam Webb movies?
Yeah.
Because that's what it really felt like.
Yeah, I'm looking at the other ones they've made now. Like the Venom movies are making hand over fist. Like, they are doing well.
Oh,
but
no, they do phenomenal.
Yeah, but Venom is like, he was on T-shirts when I was a kid. Like, everyone knew who Venom was. Like, and Carnage, I mean, it's not, he's close enough related, I feel like Venom's just a cool-looking character, just evil, like, really evil Spider-Man with this weird demon mouth thing.
Right, and he came from Spider-Man, and there was the whole Secret Wars thing. There was a lot of history and a lot of fandom. I mean, Madam Web just had nothing, and they didn't explain it.
I don't know anybody that knew her except for me and my brother. I don't know anyone who knew who Madam Web was before this dude. Morbius, I think more people knew about than Madam Web.
Oh yeah, for sure, because Morbius is a textbook Spider-Man character.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure.
Like, why don't you do one? And this is weird, but like, if you want to do a Spider-Man movie so bad, just do the Scarlet Spider, like we were talking about before. Like, he's a more anti-hero-esque Spider-Man. Like, it's the same bullshit.
I wonder if they can't do it because it's Spider-Man tangible, I guess.
Yeah, you got to do like his whole weird origin story, which is going to be confusing for people. But I mean, they've gotten through this many Marvel movies. So.
It's true. It's just amazing that they keep pumping out these fucking shitbox comic book movies without regard for what the box office is telling them or reviews are telling them or I mean I just don't know who along the lines greenlit this movie because or Morbius for that matter, right? Like, unless you were going to tag, somehow have a plan to bring Spider-Man into these things, you got to think like, I don't know, Doc Ock, yeah, I'll do that. Vulture, I'll do that. Rhino, maybe. Whatever, Green Goblin, we could do all those movies. But like Madam Web and fucking Morbius, like, oh, Jesus Christ, guys. Whoa. Was that thunder?
We had some thunder, man. Yeah, a little extreme here.
Oh, I think that
life on the edge.
I think that already hit us. That came ripping through here.
It's going by.
Yeah, so I don't know. And this goes to a side conversation that Will and I had talking about, why these movies are just like dying slow deaths. And it's just I just think everybody's numb to it at this point. Like, there's a bunch of reasons, but number one is you can only take so much shit.
I think that's, I don't know. What's your take? So like, and so completely swap it for Madam Web at this point because that's just horrible movie.
But I think it contributes. I think this is a perfect movie, right? Like, this movie comes out, it's Spider-Man related, so you have a little bit of hope because you're like, look, it's a solid comic book property. I don't know. Maybe Sony can do something different, even though Morbius wasn't really good. There are other Spider-Man movies were, so maybe Morbius was like, an outlier. And so then you go and you spend money and you go to the movies. You spend $20 on the ticket. You spend $20 on a popcorn and fucking and a soda. If you have kids, you can multiply that times the amount of kids. And then you walk out and you're like, oh my God, I'm just out $100 for no fucking reason whatsoever. And this movie's going to come out in streaming in like 2 to 3 months. Somewhere.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest part too, dude. Yeah, just the fact like all these movies, like I watched the new Furiosa movie, new Mad Max movie, whatever it is, based on the character from that Mad Max Fury Road movie, which was fucking awesome 10 years ago. Only took them 10 years to realize, oh, people like that? Let's make another one.
Right.
Which I should count my blessing. I should not say that out loud or Disney will hear me and then do the complete opposite. So I hate this franchise. But like, it was good, but apparently it's just getting shellacked at the box office right now, which I don't get because it was actually really solid.
Yeah, so talking about box office bombs, we mentioned that that Madam Web grossed 43 domestically and then 100 worldwide. If Mad Max Fury Road just fucking bomb-a-root, I mean, it was a disaster.
Yeah.
So
it's only been the first weekend, but how was the budget? Let's find out here.
So over the 4-day Memorial Day weekend, it did $32 million domestically and then 36.5 overseas. I mean, you're talking less than 70 million. I mean,
that's not
horrific.
Great.
For Memorial Day weekend, I mean, not a resounding vote of confidence for anything in the future of Mad Max. And I think that people were hoping that they were going to get another one because
it's the lowest grossing film to release on Memorial Day weekend since the 1995 movie Casper. God damn.
God, I remember Casper coming out because that was another like super old property that they're like, oh, they're gonna do something good, and then it was like, well,
I mean, I loved that movie as a kid, but I also was not
still
anywhere
never seen
vaguely of
Still,
I mean, I liked it as a kid. I have not seen it in years. Who knows how that one holds up? That's another one where you're gonna go, I like this, or it was really good.
I guess the question is, what did Fury Road open to?
I did. It must have been better than this. I mean, people were still actually going to movies.
Let's see. Fury Road box office mojo. But I mean, this is probably one of the better
Honestly,
examples.
This one didn't do that well either. It says only made like 380 million.
Well, here I'm pulling it up here, and I think I can get the opening weekend. So it opened.
Yeah, that's what I think. It
opened at 45 million, right? But I don't think anybody had any expectations for this. Now, domestically, it did 153. Internationally, it did 225. So you got the 60-40 for a worldwide total of 37.9 or 379 million is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
So here you're going to open at 32 with 36 overseas. So you're not getting the 60,
Is this franchise just not popular? Like that might be it too. I mean, this one, I didn't know Fury Road did this piss poor.
I think it was R-rated, right?
Yeah.
So that's one. And I think it was just kind of not a property that a ton of people knew about. So
yeah, like I've heard of Mad Max. I didn't know it was like
right. I mean,
I was never. It wasn't like Star Wars, dude, where it was Universal. You just kind of vaguely knew it was automotive destruction, post-apocalyptic world. That was kind of it.
Yeah, and it's a very niche fantasy film, right? Because it's in that kind of like wasteland future, right? Which they do from time to time, but it's the post-apocalyptic world.
I feel like it's almost everywhere now, though. They do it all. It's like one of the most popular genres of a show or book or anything like that.
And they always kind of screw it up because, like, all the like I don't know, the apocalypse happens and we never get electricity back for some reason. Like,
it's exhausting.
It is. Like, they might find oil to power some cars, but they never find electricity again for whatever reason. It's just everywhere. Did you ever watch Walking Dead? Walking Dead, they never had power,
Walking Dead, I was going to say Last of Us. They'll use, like, gas generators or something.
yeah, gas generators sometimes. Oh, they had that mall, right? She powered up the mall. She had found the secret button, and they went dancing on their, lesbian extravaganza. Right, I'm remembering that right. It was the girl and the other girl. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was it. Which one are we talking about? Man, oh no,
Last of Us.
Last of Us.
Just talking about electricity.
They all bleed together, dude. Yeah.
But yeah, in the barren wasteland without electricity, that was Furiosity or Furioso. I don't even know what Fury Road sequel or prequel, right? It was a prequel to Fury Road. People just didn't punch in. Either that or people just don't. I mean, they really don't like going to the movies. And I think as a result of the comic book era and shitty movies and, on text I had mentioned a couple of things, but like no comedies anymore. It's just people are like, you know what? Like, I'm not a sucker.
Dude, Todd Phillips is making Joker too, which does look kind of cool.
Four-le-deux, right?
Four-le-deux. I mean, I'm just tired. This is going to be blasted. People are going to hate me for this. I'm over Margot Robbie being Harley Quinn. I said it. I'm done with it.
Oh yeah, well I don't think you're alone with that. I think it was like fun for a hot second. But
I like Margot Robbie. I think she's cool. I still have not seen Barbie. I will get crucified for that statement.
Oh no, I haven't seen Barbie either.
I'm over her.
I actually tried to watch it. Couldn't do it.
Everyone tells me it's fun. I mean, the only thing I'm not looking for. I mean, I just
wasn't for me.
I heard one scene is going to drive me up a wall because of America Ferrera. That's like the one thing people either love this. Like, apparently, America Ferrera has some big speech in the movie.
Beats me.
But this is not a Barbie review. But apparently, it's people either love it or they hate it. My one friend who I see very eye to eye on movies.
You secretly want to watch it.
Of course, I want to watch it. Yeah, every girl in my life is like, "Have you not seen it yet? You need to watch Barbie." Oh my god! And then I'm like, "I'll watch it if you watch Madam Webb and all the Lord of the Rings movies."
I don't believe it. Like I know you can't beat the box office receipts, but like I failed to see that everybody watched Barbie. I never hear anybody talk about it. Like, I mean,
I think it was the Barbenheimer thing, dude. I think the fact that you like these two polar opposite movies coming out the same day, that just made everyone just get kind of pumped up to go to actually go to the theaters.
While we're
people
at
like
it,
it.
I mean, fuck Oppenheimer too, by the way, because I finally saw that. I don't think we've ever touched it.
No, we
on the
never
pod.
touched that one. No, dude.
But I mean, it won't open up here because we're pushing an hour. But
yeah,
I mean,
it's like a 3.5 hour film. Yeah,
yeah, it is 3.5 hours. It is long. And it doesn't really deliver on what you like. Like the bomb, like when the bomb goes off, the movie's kind of over.
Yeah,
like
I think that's everyone's main complaint, dude. Is that like you can end it there. Like you can end it at the bomb, and then he's like, "Nope, here's another hour because he was accused of being a communist, and here's that backstory, and this guy didn't like him." And you're like, "Well, this is a different story."
And like when you watch it, you're like, "Wow, I don't necessarily care about this." Like I did because I thought there was going to be like the bomb, and
Yeah, I think it's because he's Christopher Nolan, so like everyone just is like, "Oh, well, he makes amazing movies," and he does make really good movies. But then he'll make a thing like Tenet, which sucks dick, which is just like the epitome of his problem, where he would just go like,
whoa! I thought Tenet was good.
That is an opinion.
That is definitely an opinion. Hell yeah, that is
Tenet to me. I'll just wrap this one quick here, but like, so after Inception, I remember everyone around me right before I saw Inception was telling me how like confusing and convoluted the plot was, or how smart you had to be to understand what was going on in the movie. And then I watched the movie, and I was like, it's just there's layers, and they're in a dream, and like things that this is not that complicated. Why do people think this is complicated?
It's not. And then it was a cool little spin at the end.
It was cool at the end, and the way like that he ends the movie. But I think Christopher Nolan thinks he's way smarter than he is, and I think Interstellar and I think Tenet are very classic examples where he does a Nolanism, where he'll be like, look at how complex and confusing and cool this is, and if you don't get it, you're stupid. And you're like, no, I think this doesn't make sense, and I think this is dumb.
Yeah, I got you. I'm with you there. Now Christopher Nolan isn't great all the time.
Yeah.
When he is good, he's great.
Yes.
But there
amazing.
are times, I mean, Dark Knight Returns, Rises, that was a bomber-o. That was no good.
That was a movie. That was another movie, dude.
You didn't like Tenet, so that was one. Interstellar, I thought was okay, but it was everyone made such a big deal about like the crying scene.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah, I like Matthew McConaughey, but that was another one where it was like, we get it. Like,
yeah. I don't know. But when it does work, like I did like Inception. I actually like the first Batman Begins more than I liked the Dark Knight, right?
Rises, honestly, I would have liked Rises, except then in the middle of the movie, they're like, okay, we've built a nuke underneath Gotham. And you're like, what? It's like, yeah, you didn't realize Bruce Wayne just had like the 3 tools that magically fit in together?
Everything about the third one sucked. It really
you're just like...
I mean, people say, they're like, oh, it wasn't as good. And it was like, yeah, it wasn't as good because it wasn't fucking good at all.
It was just like... This is your movie? Really?
It's just terrible. Memento was good. I don't know if you saw that one.
I have no idea what that one is.
That one, I think it was like one of his very first ones, but it is you know what happened in Madam Webb when she would like see the future, but you didn't know it was the future, and then they would backtrack, and then you try to like piece everything together.
Bro, that editing, by the way, they thought they were being clever there. Know the director's like... They're not going to know what's going on.
Memento is, it's kind of Saw in the sense that you're like dropped in the story and then you're like, hold on, what the hell just happened? And then you're trying to piece it together as things go on. And I don't want to ruin it because it actually is really good. But it is you're flashing back and you're trying to figure out what's going on. And here's a clue and you're trying to piece it together. And it's done really well. But Memento was good. Inception, Dark Knight Rises, Oppenheimer, Dunkirk. I have not seen Dunkirk. I heard it was really good. War Peace, right? So, The Prestige is great. But
Prestige is great.
I mean, I think the ending makes The Prestige great, right?
I think the whole movie was good. I mean, the ending was definitely really cool. And like, I mean, I haven't rewatched it since that first time, but I remember me and my dad were just like, damn, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah. Insomnia, which people did not like, and I thought that one was awesome. Have you ever seen Insomnia?
I've never seen that one. No.
Robin Williams and I think Al Pacino. And yeah, and you got to watch it one day during the day.
I type in Insomnia and they just start pumping in Insomnia cookie recommendations.
It's Al Pacino, Robin Williams, Hilary Swank, and you got to watch it during the day, like in the middle of the day.
Oh, I have heard of this.
With all the windows open. Because for whatever reason, it whacks you because they do it in Alaska where it's like light all the time. And it works on you a little bit. Tenant Following. I don't know what Following is. 1998. And is that all of them from him? So, like we said, when it hits, he probably has hit a little bit more than I thought. But when it does,
definitely has. No, he's a good director. I just think he gets it's like any director. It's like Zack Snyder, dude. Like, can he make good stuff? Yes, we've seen it from him before. But there's a point where they just get a little too much power. And they're like, what if I listen to nobody else? Because I know everything that's right.
It's almost like people are afraid to be critical. Like, I mean, you can be critical of Oppenheimer. Like, it wasn't like fucking. I want to insult. I was just about to say Casablanca only because it was so historic, but I haven't seen Casablanca, and nobody talks about it anymore anyway. But it wasn't a Saving Private Ryan. It wasn't a
I was, you know what it is? It's because I've not
Citizen
still seen
Kane,
it. And this is another thing we can watch for next week besides that beautiful Jennifer Lopez movie. That Jerry Seinfeld thing. Have you seen the reviews coming in for the Jerry Seinfeld thing?
Cornflakes, Flake Man.
The Pop-Tart thing.
Oh, Frosted.
People are hating it.
Yeah, it sounds like it's terrible. Right?
Yeah, which is just like, it's another one of those where you think, because there's all these comedians in it that I love, and Amy Schumer. And
Amy Schumer.
And she's also there. And you're just kind of going, well, these guys are talented. I know they're all talented. I know Jerry Seinfeld, and we talked about this thing last time a little bit.
Was it David or Seinfeld?
Larry David is from what I've heard.
Yeah.
My dad sat next to Jason Alexander, who played George Costanza on a plane years ago. And my dad, they got to talking. And so naturally they were talking about the show. And apparently, Jason Alexander was just like, yeah, if I'm being honest, the creative force of the show, we had a bunch of really good writers, but 70% of the creativity was Larry David. Jerry Seinfeld was, he was 30%. He was pretty good, but, it was chiefly Larry David.
Yeah, well, I started watching a clip, and I know we're getting to the end here, but I started rewatching the episode of what's the new live show Netflix with the comedian we talked about.
Tires.
No, not Tires. Hold on. No, it was live. It's the John Mulaney. John Mulaney does.
Oh yeah, that was good too.
It's like John Mulaney does Los Angeles or whatever.
Yeah. He does a 6-episode late night show.
Right, but Seinfeld's on that, and Seinfeld, he's a comedian. Now, I've never liked Seinfeld stand up. But, there he is, and Mulaney's pretty good, and he can ad-lib. And I don't know, fucking Seinfeld, just couldn't feed into it. And he's, boring. And I'm like, dude, make a joke. Do something funny.
I think people just treat him with so much deference because of this show, or will just, laugh at what he says because he's Jerry Seinfeld, or they want him to like him. But I really feel like he is just, Larry David, I think, knows what he is. He knows he's George Costanza. I don't think Jerry Seinfeld realizes that he's George Costanza, if that makes sense.
Right. Now, it does make sense, right? So that's why, Larry David, when he's on, the I forget what
Curb or something, just he's an asshole. But
he's an asshole. So, on live television, on a morning talk show, when he's trying to pump the final season of Curb Your Enthusiasm, he walks over to Elmo, who's also on set, and smacks Elmo across the face.
Yeah, he chokes Elmo.
Beats the shit out of Elmo. And then Elmo, the guy who's puppeting him is like, Larry, what's going on with you? And all the girls start yelling at Larry.
Elmo, there's like when you do this job.
Larry was like, what the fuck?
He's like, we got to stop having these weak kids and Muppets.
Oh, God, they brought Larry. And then they bring him on, and he's got to apologize, and you can see his skin's just, crawling that he's got to do this apology on air.
He's like, what do you mean? You want to apologize?
But, there's that. I mean, that's fucking funny, right? He walks up and he beats the fuck out of Elmo on live TV.
It was a story for like a day. It was a story for a day because he beat him up. And you're like, well, that's who he is. Like, what, do you think he wasn't the guy that he's playing on Curb Your Enthusiasm? No, that's literally who he is. But Jerry Seinfeld, I think, thinks he's like the fun everyman that he is.
Oh my God!
Seinfeld.
And then he's put on the stage with Mulaney. Mulaney's trying to hand him some softballs. Yeah, you lived in Los Angeles. Yes, in the '80s, when you could get around.
Yeah, when you
we used to say it was 20 minutes to everywhere.
He has that old man.
Now it's like an hour. Like, Jerry, what are you doing here? Wait, this isn't funny. This isn't fun. It's not funny.
There's something about like old people where like you get them on a story and it just turns into a long tangent about their lives. Like, but ask me how my day was.
Will, how was your day?
Well, my day. Well, I woke up and I started, eating these bran flakes, which, by the way, I've been eating these bran flakes for quite a while. I mean, it's really been my breakfast.
I like Banana Nut Crunch is my favorite bran flake.
That's interesting you do that because I just like them plain. I've been eating them plain way. I've been only eating the plain way.
No raisins?
Since I started working. You're interrupting me right now.
Okay. Sorry. I thought maybe you did them a different way, but okay, you just eat them plain, sir.
I've been eating them plain for the last 40 years at my job, and which I walked in and I looked at the manager and I said I would like a job here. He gave it to me, but I've been eating those bran flakes, which reminds me, the guy who first got me the bran flakes was this guy Earl, who I met when I was working on Smith Street. You remember Smith Street, of course. That was where I lived 80 years ago.
Did Earl die randomly during one of your stories?
Earl was the guy I mentioned to you 20 years ago, or maybe that wasn't you, but he was the one who introduced me to bran flakes. Now he was at my wedding. I wasn't as his though because of a falling out. Now let me explain this to you. And they go on like that, dude, for 40 minutes, and you just have to smile and nod your head. And that is who Jerry Seinfeld has become.
He is. Yes. Yes. No punchline, Jerry. No punchline, Jerry is what they should call him.
Thank goodness that real estate business he does took off because God help us if he's a comedian still. But yeah, I don't know. I think people are getting more aware that it was Larry David who is the true genius, as it were, behind Seinfeld.
Yeah, for sure. I'm watching the Dallas-Edmonton game right now. It's game 4 of the 7-game Western Conference Final Series. And this guy on the Dallas Stars just took a puck to the face, like right underneath his visor, just right in his grill. Mm-hmm. Fucking dropped like a sack of bricks.
Fucking get him.
I couldn't believe it. It was like, oh, my God, I haven't seen a good shot like that. You remember? Well, you were probably too young. Malarchuk when he got his neck cut on fucking TV.
I know nothing about sports.
Oh God, he was
the broken helmet.
Who was the oil? He was I think Keith Malarchuk. I think he played for the Sabres. But anyway, he took a skate right up to the fucking jugular, and fucking all over the ice, just fucking started bleeding out all over the place. They saved him. He was good.
Oh my God!
But it was brutal. It was like during the game might have been on ESPN.
Dude, that's out of fucking Blades of Glory right there. God damn.
Yeah, I know. Hockey has good stories. Well, not good stories, but good stories because they're gross and tragic or violent, whatever. Anyway, I'll go into a ton of AHL stories, but nobody wants to hear that. At this point, it's about an hour, so let's punch out, continue our Tuesdays. You go hang out with your girl. I'm going to probably hang out by myself because my family's probably asleep by now. But next week we can pick up with good movies, or we could continue down. We still didn't do Tires.
I was going to say we haven't done Tires.
I'm catching up with.
We haven't done Atlas with Jennifer Lopez, which I'm very much looking forward to watching.
Yes, I did not watch that. I definitely want to watch that.
I've heard atrocious things about it. I will probably not bring my girlfriend into watching that one.
You sucker her into watching Atlas too? Fucking congrats. Just
congrats,
sir.
She's going to break up pretty quick if I do that one. Yeah, that's going to be bad.
All right, well, you know what? I think I'm going to go watch Atlas right now. All right, with that out, we'll talk to you guys next week or the week after. Depends on our schedule, but I think we're pretty open now. We'll see. But I'm going to go watch Atlas. You go hang out with your girlfriend. Do something fun. Don't beat me.
Yeah.
Don't beat me. All right. Audi 5000.
Peace, brother.